You are listening to PastThink.com audiobook. Please like and subscribe, thank you. Chapter 31. Cao Cao defeats Yuan Shao. Xuanda is in despair but finds refuge with Liu Biao. Yuan Shao eventually manages to escape from the enemy troops, and soon his shattered forces are regrouping ready to march home to Jizhou. One night en route to Jizhou, Yuan Shao is disturbed by the sounds of men in distress. Wandering out, he overhears so many men in his army bemoaning the loss of friends, of brothers or fathers and uncles slain in the battle. Deeply touched and troubled, he becomes aware of the suffering of his own men, and even when he reaches safety in Jizhou his heart is distressed. Is there any point in going on? Soon, however, he is heartened when fresh troops start to arrive from across his domain. At the same time, Cao Cao arrives with his invading army and camps along the river. Somewhat to his surprise, the local people greet him as a hero. When he asks some of the oldest folk in the village near where the camp is why this is, they tell him a strange tale. Back in the days of Emperor Huan, a yellow star appeared, hovering just above this place here, they say. A well-known astrologer was passing through and told us that this meant that in 50 years' time there would come a worthy man. That was 50 years ago. Sir, we have suffered long under the taxes of Yuan Shao. But you, sir, are known for your benevolence. You bring down the mighty. The defeat of Yuan Shao at Guanzhong fulfills the astrologer's predictions. So now we, the ordinary people, can look forward to a time of peace. Deeply moved by this, Cao Cao says, "Can I even dare to hope that this might be me?" And he gives orders that the villagers are to be protected. Anyone stealing anything from them is to be executed. While his men are surprised by this order, they obey. This earns Cao Cao and his army the blessing and thanks of the local people. News comes that Yuan Shao has brought his army of 200,000 to 300,000 to Songting. So Cao Cao marches to confront him. After hurling insults at each other, the two armies clash, and terrible loss of life ensues. But it is inconclusive. Frustrated by this, Cao Cao and his advisors plan to use a complex set of ambushes, no less than 10 in total, to fool and then destroy Yuan Shao's army. They will attack at midnight and draw the enemy into a series of ambushes. Central to this is that most of Cao Cao's men will end up backed up against the river. The plan works well, and as dawn rises, Cao Cao shouts to his men who are backed up against the river, "There's no way out of here. Let every man fight to save his life." With desperate energy, his men surge forward. As Yuan Shao falls back, ambush after ambush springs into action to confront him. Soon most of his army lie dead on the battlefield, or have fled. In despair, Yuan Shao too races away, eventually escaping all the ambushes and pursuits only to collapse upon reaching safety. All he can do now is to send his few remaining commanders to defend the borders of his own land. Cao Cao rests after his victory, but his respite is short-lived. News reaches him that Xuanda is advancing on the capital. He has no option but to head for Xuchang. Xuandu and Cao Cao come face to face at Rang Mountain. Seeing Xuanda, Cao Cao shouts, "You were once my guest and treated with great honor. Is this how you repay such friendship?" "You say you are the prime minister," retorts Xuanda, "but you are nothing more to the Han than a traitor. I, being of imperial blood, have been given the order to crush you." And Xuanda then reads aloud from the secret belt decree. Infuriated by this, Cao Cao gives the order to attack. But it is the attack by Guan Yu and Zhang Fei that settles the outcome. The very ground trembles as the two brothers and their men ride into battle. Cao Cao's men, already tired by their long march, are terrified, and soon the army are fleeing from the battleground back into their fortified camp. However, Xuanda's triumph is short-lived. Despite many attempts to draw the enemy out of their camp, they resolutely remain behind its protecting walls. Worse is to follow. News comes that Runan has been taken by Cao Cao's commander Xiahou Dun. Meanwhile, Zhang Fei, who has been sent to intercept an enemy supply column, is trapped. Xuanda finds himself as a result being advanced upon from the front and from the rear. In the chaos that ensues, Xuanda's men are forced to retreat, and many lose their lives that day. Xuanda escapes, but only just. Just as they think they are safe, they round a hill, and are confronted by enemy soldiers advancing from many different sides, an ambush set by Zhang He. With less than 1,000 men left, with his own family who have been rescued, and fearing that Guan Yu has been captured, Xuanda is in despair. He even cries aloud to heaven and tries to cut his throat, but is prevented by his own men. It is fortunate that they do, for just as all seems lost, Zhao Zilong appears, leading his men. Charging into battle, Zhao Zilong slays men left and right, but even he is soon surrounded and hemmed in by Zhang He's men. At this crucial moment, Guan Yu, Guan Ping, and Zhou Cong emerge from the hills and attack. Zhang He is forced to retreat, and at last Xuanda and his men are able to rest. Guan Yu rides to rescue Zhang Fei from attack, and soon the three brothers are united again. But bad news continues to come. Cao Cao is hunting for Xuanda, and is determined to trap him. Hearing this, Xuanda orders Sun Qian to take his family to safety, while he and his men lead Cao Cao's troops away on what proves in the end to be a wild goose chase for Cao Cao. Xuanda has escaped after all. Resting, Xuanda decides that he must speak openly and clearly to his men. Dear friends, you all deserve to be the confidants of a mighty ruler. But following me, you've ended up here with nothing but sadness. I've nothing. Not even this bit of land where I stand today. You've been misled by me. Go. Go and find a better, more worthy lord to serve. His men do not know where to look, they are so embarrassed and saddened. Brother, says Guan Yu, don't speak like this. Remember how the founder of the Han lost battle after battle. But in the end he won and founded a dynasty, which has lasted 400 years. Defeats, victories, these are the natural course of warfare. Don't let this bring you down. Sun Qian adds, there is a time for victory and a time for defeat, so don't give up. Near here is Jingzhou, and Liu Biao. He too is related to the Han Emperor, like you. Why don't we go to him and take refuge there? Why would he want to protect me, asks Xuanda. Well, let me go and see if he will, says Sun Qian, and soon he is on his way. When Sun Qian meets Liu Biao, he soon convinces him to offer a fellow defender of the Han refuge. However, not everyone is happy at the decision. His brother-in-law Cai Mao points out that Xuanda started serving under Lu Bu, then Cao Cao, then Yuan Shao. None of these has he stayed with for long. What does that tell us about him? Bring him here, and Cao Cao will attack us. Instead, execute this messenger, and send his head to Cao Cao as a sign of your friendship. But Liu Biao refuses and reprimands Cai Mao in front of everyone else. Cai Mao is left nursing a grudge for this humiliation. Soon Xuanda is being formally welcomed by Liu Biao, and together they enter the city. Cao Cao is all for attacking Jingzhou straight away. But his advisors urge him to wait until spring. So it is that in the early months of AD 202 he is ready for war once again. His first target is Yuan Shao. He has now recovered from his collapse after the last great battle, and is in turn planning to advance on the capital. When news comes of Cao Cao's own advance and threatened attack on Yuan Shao's capital at Jizhou, Yuan Shao's son Yuan Shang takes command of the army and rides out to confront Cao Cao. Who is going to win? Let's find out.